The following is a production of Gearhead Media. All right, welcome back to the All Automotive Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Clausen, and today I wanted to talk to you about a situation that came up on Sunday, and my daughter calls me, FaceTimes me, and guess what? Flips the camera around, shows the wheel of her car, and guess what? The tire is flat as a pancake. And so not a good deal, you know, flat tire, it's kind of challenging. Good thing she was at her work in the parking lot at work. She come out and, oh, the tire's flat. I must have obviously run something over. So, you know, she had a friend, coworker that could run her home, and so that wasn't a pressing issue at the time. So, funny story is she had to get a battery for her car, and she went and did that and got it installed all by herself, which was cool. And she was bringing the battery back because batteries have cores on them. She was bringing it back to the parts store, and it unfortunately tipped over, and some of the acid dripped out on the carpet in the back. So when they showed up prior to us going on vacation a couple of weeks ago, she showed up and showed me what was going on. And I said, well, get some baking soda and we'll spray that on the back and we'll see if we can get it cleaned up. So we cleaned it all up, but over the time we were on vacation, we had the stuff out of the back, and the carpet and the cover for the spare tire cover is what we had out. And at that point, you know, we got everything all taken care of, got it all cleaned out of there, got all the water sucked out of the bottom. And a few minutes later, she came in and she said, hey, you know, I can't get this spare tire thing to loosen up so I can get the spare tire out if I had to. And so I come outside and we took a look at it really quick, and there's no way this retaining bolt that holds the spare tire down, it's just a bolt that screws into a fixed nut that's in the floor of the back of the trunk area there that holds the spare tire down. And majority of the ones that you see have some sort of retaining bolt or retaining nut that holds them down. The stud either comes up and it's a nut, or this one happens to be a bolt. Anyway, it was frozen. It's to say the least. So we tried to get it out, and we were breaking the plastic part of the wing nut, trying to get it off. And so this is when we got back from vacation, we tried it. And so we couldn't get it out. So jokingly, I said, well, hopefully you don't get a flat within the next couple of weeks, because you can come back. You're going to be coming back home because she's working locally at the county fair. So she's going to be working locally. So the car would be here. So I'd be able to get it to the shop and we'd remedy the situation. Not the case. You know, Murphy's Law is in play here. So anyway, the tire goes flat. You know, we can't get the spare tire out. So I'm prepared to go to Ann Arbor and get the tire off, figure out what's wrong with it, and bring it back. And all the while, you know, the vehicle's jacked up or whatever. So in the next few minutes or so, in the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to tell you this funny story, as well as things to prepare yourself for if you have kids that are of college age and are going to college and they have their car with them and they're allowed to have their car with them. You know, the majority of the kids that go away for their first year in college are not allowed to have cars. I know I was when I went to the University of Toledo. It was no problem because I lived off campus and they allowed me to have my car. Some colleges don't allow you to have cars as freshmen. So she's well beyond that. She's still in college. She goes to Eastern Michigan and is doing very well. So the story goes is we can't get the spare tire out, so I can't put it on, nor can she. So I have to go and figure something out. So she didn't work on Monday, so I went down there to where she works. It was in the parking lot, flatter than a pancake. I brought the tire plug kit. I brought, an impact wrench, a cordless impact wrench, so I could get the wheel off if I had to, and if I couldn't get to the plug and so forth. So step number one is to, take your kid's car to the shop before they go away to school. Here's your reminder, because it's July. It's the beginning of August. It's the end of July, beginning of August. They're going to go away to school in less than a month, people. So you want to make sure that you take their car to get its oil changed, even if it doesn't need it, because most repair facilities will do a courtesy inspection for you and look at all the things that could go wrong while they're at school. So the other thing I would tell you to do is, and we do this, we make sure that if we do our safety inspection, we're checking a lot of different things on our safety inspection, over 75 things, I believe it is, that we check. And one of them is the spare tire. And can you get it out? Is it pumped up with air? Is there a jack? And can you find the wheel lock key? And that's the pet peeve of the mechanic. They can't find the wheel lock key because it's got these lug nuts on there that are locking lug nuts, and we need a special key or tool to go on to the end of the wrench, the socket, and it takes the lug nut off, because you have expensive wheels, or because you don't want your wheels to come up missing, or there's thieves out there that think they need these wheels for whatever reason. So these wheel locks are in place. So make sure that the spare tire has air. The jack is there. The lug nut wrench. I always think of that movie Christmas Story and the lug nuts that go flying, oh fudge, right? So we don't want to say, oh fudge, when you got to drive over an hour, or potentially send road service out to help rescue your child. So, and a lot of colleges, they've got pretty decent security people, and they've got people that'll help you. There's things, you want them to be independent, but you don't want them to not call you if there's a problem. So again, take it in, get an oil change done on it. Most likely it's due. They've been driving it at home for 3 months while they've been working or doing whatever. So it's just important to do that. So you get this oil change done. We'll do your courtesy inspection. We look over a lot of different things. Even if you want a health evaluation on your vehicle, we can certainly do that. That is not a problem. You can ask any of the shops that you deal with. They most likely will do that for you. And then you have a good picture of what's going on with your vehicle before your child goes away to school. So don't end up like me, where I pushed it off and I said, well, while you're home in a couple of weeks, and then it did. It kind of, bit me in the butt. And so I had to take 2 hours out of my day, which wasn't a big deal, to drive to Ann Arbor, where she works, and get the tire plugged. It's something that I can do, and I did, and it's going and it's gone. But here is my helpful hints and helpful tips for you as parents. And also, if you're listening and you are a student, tell your parent, hey, Mom, Dad, I need to get my car in before I go away to school to make sure I'm not walking from the other side of campus. So if you've ever been to some of these Big Ten schools and you can't walk, you can, but it'll take a while. And a lot of these kids don't like to do that. And I know I didn't like to do that when I was in college, because I went to Toledo and then I transferred to Kent State. And if you walked Kent State from one end to the other, it's kind of a jaunt. It can be done, but man, I don't want to do it. I didn't want to do it when I was 18, 19. I don't want to do it now, and I'm 50 something, right? So here's the tip. Just take it in, call them, schedule an appointment, get the oil change done. Then they'll check all your fluids. If you're somebody that's mechanically inclined, do this for your kids. Check the trunk, check the spare, check the air in the spare, check the air in all the tires. do your own safety inspection. We do a lot of points under the hood, belts, hoses, fluids. We check the if anything is hanging down, if anything is leaking, if it's going to cause an issue, we're going to bring it to your attention. And don't get mad if there's things wrong. It's just we want you to know to have make your own decision so that you can make a good decision for your kid. So again, get the oil change done, get a safety inspection done, check the tires, the tire pressure. Don't forget about stuff like that, because it ultimately could put you in a position where you are, in fact, the one that's going to rescue your kid, because it just would have saved me time, her time. She wouldn't have to bum a ride home. There's all kinds of different things that are going on, but it's nobody's fault that there's nails and stuff in the road. But things happen. But if we could have got the spare tire out and the jack was in the car, we could have, she would have been able to do it, just like she was able to do her battery. Can't go up around me and not know how to do some things on a vehicle. So there you go. Pay attention to that stuff. Make sure your kid is safe when you go to school, or when they go to school, and everyone will be happy, and you won't end up like me. All right, that's going to do it for another episode of the All Automotive Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Clausen, and this is your reminder once again to get your kid's car looked at or fixed before they go away to college. Don't be like me, or you're going to end up driving 2 hours to plug a tire. So until next time, I'm Matt Clausen saying, hey, keep that greasy side down.